In the small, cramped room, all the sounds seemed to fade away, leaving only the rustling of the old sofa, as if witnessing each of their most sublime moments. Julian's fingers slid gently, travelling to new lands on her body. She closed her eyes, enjoying the heavenly moments like the ninth cloud that she had never had before. Welcome to our channel. If you love engaging and emotional love stories, then come to our channel. Here we will bring you stories full of surprises, touching and engaging. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any interesting stories. In today's video, we would like to present to you a story called The Unforgettable Days of Sister-in-Law and Brother-in-Law, narrated by Jane. Please watch along. Layla sat listlessly, leaning her head against the pillar in front of the house, her eyes looking far away into the deep alley. Every day, in the afternoon, Layla's heart was filled with sadness. Julian was also very familiar with his sister-in-law's image every day, but today he was stronger. He walked over to where Layla was sitting and asked, "Why don't you go inside and watch a movie to relax? What are you doing sitting here? The cold wind will make you sick." Layla shook her head, her voice sad. "If things continue like this, I'll probably leave David, Uncle. Having a husband is like not having one. People who have wives and children worry about their families, but this year must be a bad year. So many sad things are happening. Let's wait until the end of the year to see how things go. Maybe things will get better. After 3 years of marriage, my husband has been away from home for 2 years. He hasn't been able to help his wife and children, and he's been having affairs outside. What's the point of going down like this? He's said to be working far away, but he can't give his wife a penny. I can't stand it anymore." Julian looked at her, his eyes filled with sympathy. "Just keep trying, for the children too. Next year, everything will be better." Layla sighed, looking into the distance. "Looking at other couples being happy makes me jealous. But here you are, struggling with life alone. And I'm a woman too. I also need the love and warmth of a man." As soon as she finished speaking, Layla lowered her head to the pillow, sobbing loudly. Julian was confused by this situation. He didn't know how to comfort her. Instinctively, Julian put his arms around Layla's head and pulled her into his shoulder, patting her. "Don't be sad anymore. Everything will get better." It wasn't because she felt too hurt that Layla wasn't confused by her brother-in-law's actions. She just leaned on his shoulder and cried loudly, pouring out everything in her heart. It had been a long time since she had been in a man's arms. This warmth, it was just like the warmth of her husband when they first got married. She felt warm and somewhat relieved her heart. She raised her head and looked at Julian. "I am a good and thoughtful man. Whoever marries me will be very lucky." Layla continued to lean her head against her brother, as if she didn't want to escape from his arms. It had been a long time since she had been caressed and shared like this, and it had been a long time since she had touched a man. Layla's mind was spinning, strange emotions lingering in her head. After a while, Julian was startled by his actions. He quickly removed his hand and turned his face away. How could a brother-in-law ever caress his sister-in-law so intimately? He thought to himself. If anyone saw it, they would judge it badly. Layla also didn't understand why she let Julian act like that. Maybe it was because Layla was too lonely. She always longed for some kind of emotion, so she was like that. Lean was also a bit shy. She said, "So when will you get married? You're old enough. Get married soon or you'll suffer. Remember to love your wife and children in the future. Don't be like your brother." Julian smiled and replied, "You just worry about your own life. If you are comfortable and happy, then I can get married." Both of them understood their current emotions. It was like an electric current running through both of their bodies, like a small rain pouring down on a barren land. For a long time, Layla has been a charming, beautiful, famous woman in this neighborhood. She is not from this area, but followed her husband from San Francisco, California, to be a bride here. Not only does she have a charming smile, she also has a petite, attractive figure, a single mother, always making men swoon with her indescribable charm. Among them, Julian, her close brother-in-law, is indispensable. Julian is only 27 years old this year. He is the youngest in a family of 2 brothers. His parents died early, so he lives with his older brother and sister. Julian is a hard-working, gentle person, so despite his young age, he has saved up to build himself a small house next to his older brother and sister's house. Since his older brother went to work far away, all the heavy and light work in the family has fallen to Julian. He spends more time with his sister-in-law than with his brother, and since then, the silent feelings have been rumbling inside him. Julian has never revealed his feelings. He loved seeing her smile, loved seeing her work, loved everything related to Layla. That small, pretty figure always appeared in his mind every night. Julian never stopped missing and dreaming of protecting his sister-in-law. Even though he knew that feeling was wrong, Julian still longed to once be able to hold her tight in his arms with his love for her. As for Layla, although she didn't show it, living alone made her feel suffocated and uncomfortable, both physically and mentally. She also wished to be pampered every night. Seeing other women happy, every night that passed was a time of torture for Layla. Everything was boiling inside her, but she had no way to resolve it. At times like that, she could only endure it and didn't know what else to do. Many times, she saw Julian healthy. In her daily activities, she often peeked and paid attention to her brother-in-law, but those were just fleeting thoughts because she understood that it was impossible, that person was not for her. Sometimes she also imagined Julian a lot. The 2 sisters lived next to each other, saw each other when they came in and out, and bumped into each other in everything they did, so Layla's frustration was always at its peak. Sometimes, whether it was intentional or not, Layla's revealing way of dressing always made Julian confused. Even though he tried to avoid it, everything always caught his eye. From then on, Layla's dreamy images could not escape his mind. Today was the same. Seeing her little brother comforting her, Layla thought a lot. Indecent thoughts began to appear in her mind. The only thing Layla wanted at this moment was for someone to untangle the tension inside her. She had suppressed it for too long. It erupted into a desire that she couldn't control. Layla wanted her little brother to see her charm, wanted Julian to dream about her too. Layla hoped Julian would be the one to give her moments of happiness. This afternoon, Layla wore a cool nightgown, which was incredibly revealing. Just a slight bend, and the whole world appeared before her eyes. The electric current Julian transmitted to her had made her infatuated and no longer able to maintain her previous virtuous lifestyle. Layla kept hovering in front of Julian to attract his brother's attention. Everything that had caught his eye, whatever its shape, whatever its shade, was already in Julian's mind. He began to imagine evil scenarios between him and his sister-in-law. Those emotions paralyzed his nervous system. He couldn't hide his desire. It was clearly visible in his eyes and face. The one who saw it most clearly was Layla. Layla felt her brother-in-law's heat. She felt that Julian was also hypnotized by her fluttering figure. What she wanted was to receive some kind of excessive action from Julian so that she could have the opportunity to pounce on him and tear him apart. She found every excuse to put Julian in the vortex. That night, after dinner and putting the child to work, Layla took her clothes to take a bath. She had never taken a bath so late. Tonight, she chose a floral 2-strap dress, a dress she had almost never worn before. She tried to make the bathroom door sound loud enough for Julian to hear. The bathroom was located between the 2 houses. It was a separate common area, so whoever came in and out would be known to the house next door. Layla turned on the lights everywhere and went inside to do her business. Today was different from any other day. Layla took her phone with her when she took a bath. After taking everything off, she called Julian. "Honey, I left my bra on the clothesline. Can you help me get it?" Julian was quite startled, but there was a bit of excitement in his heart. In a few seconds, he realized that his sister-in-law was expecting something. Julian quickly replied, "Yes, let me get it for you." Julian walked straight to the bathroom, looking through the frosted glass with the light inside. He could also see a bit of Layla's vague figure. Layla heard Julian's footsteps approaching, so she took the initiative to open the door. A shimmering image appeared. A huddled image of Layla appeared before Julian's eyes, and she was not shy at all. Julian was dizzy at this action. He had to freeze for a few seconds before handing the shirt to Layla. "Give it to me, thank you." The door closed. Julian stood there, frozen in place. He was paralyzed by Layla's beautiful form. He was in a dream. What's happening? This seemingly impossible thing. Why is it true? Julian exclaimed. Why is it so beautiful and endless? What is she thinking? Julian walked outside in a daze. He sat down on the porch, his mind incredibly confused. Layla immediately stepped out in a two-strap dress, full of tension. "I'm sorry, I was so careless. You saw everything. Don't think about it," Layla said. Julian blurted out unconsciously, "You're so beautiful. I didn't think the figure inside would be so beautiful. How can I sleep tonight?" Layla was caught in a whirlpool, waiting for opportunities like this. She sat down next to Julian, her voice filled with emotion. "Do you like me?" Julian turned to look at Layla. This look was not discreet at all. It revealed almost half of Layla's figure. It made Julian's emotions swirl even more. If I like it, then what? If I don't like it, then what? There's nothing I can do. I just feel like every time I look at you like that, I'll be very miserable tonight. If you like, I can give you one chance, let you taste the sweetness of a woman. How about it? I know you've never been close to a woman before, am I right? Can we? We're sisters. I just want you to be a little more discreet so that my mind can be focused and balanced. You don't hide anything from me. Every night that passes is a prison night for her. It has been more than 2 years since she had anyone by her side to vent to. She craves it so much. She is also a woman. She only wishes to get rid of all the deadlocks in her body at once. She is very thirsty. Do you understand my feelings? I really want to too, but every time you see me you feel hot. Your instincts are churning inside you. You feel very uncomfortable. Today is the same. If I don't let it out, I probably won't be able to sleep. If it keeps going like this, I won't be able to live. There's no woman in the world who has to suffer like you." Hearing those words, Julian felt sorry for his sister-in-law. He wanted to protect her, to be sheltered, to be loved, and to ease his heartache. Instinctively, Julian pulled Layla into his arms. The warmth of both people intertwined, and their heartbeats suddenly quickened. The sparks of electricity began to erupt. "I will help you tonight. It hurts me to see you like this." Layla looked up at Julian, her eyes filled with dreams, shining brighter than ever. She turned to press closer to her brother, as if to say, "Today I will be yours. I will give you everything. Let the child go to sleep and then come here with me." After saying that, Julian went straight into the house. She then ran to her room to put her child to sleep. She turned off all the lights everywhere and didn't forget to lock the gate. When the yard was quiet, she immediately entered Julian's house. She had never seen this house so strange. Just seeing Julian sitting on the chair made Layla's face turn red. She walked over to Julian and sat down. her eyes on her brother who was shaking like a leaf. "Why are you shaking? Just be normal. It makes me nervous. If it happens today, it will be your first time. You're curious about it too, right? I know you pay attention to me, and I understand your age, what you want, what you desire. It's just that your uncle left you alone that we ended up like this. Come on, calm down." To break the awkwardness between the two, Layla took the initiative to provoke Julian with extremely bold images. Julian was still tense. There was still an invisible fear in Julian's heart. He couldn't be natural. After Layla's stormy actions, Julian began to integrate with those emotions and became so crazy that he no longer knew who he was. She felt like she was being burned by the fire, torn between love and responsibility. She knew that what she was doing would leave a mark on her soul forever. But the desire and attraction that Julian brought made it hard for her to resist. How long had it been since she felt such closeness? How long had it been since she received a gaze filled with love and passion from someone? She looked up at Julian, her eyes filled with confusion and turmoil, as if asking him if they should continue going further. But Julian's eyes answered all the questions in her heart, a look full of determination and sincerity. "Sister Lien," Julian softly called her name, his voice low, gentle but passionate. "I can't hold back anymore. Every moment with you, I know that I've gone too far, but I have no regrets." She could no longer hide the emotions in her heart. Julian's words were like a warm current spreading through her mind, erasing all her worries and anxieties. She felt her heart melt, revealing the secret desires she had hidden for so many years. "Julian," Lien said, but could not continue. All words at this moment became meaningless when emotions were surging. Before she could think further, Julian gently pulled her into his arms. His hand on her shoulder was firm and comforting. Lien felt the warmth from his body, his steady breathing by her ear, and she did not want to leave this moment. Julian gently placed a light kiss on her forehead, slow but meaningful. That kiss was like an affirmation, a true expression of affection. Lien closed her eyes, silent in his arms, letting her heart lead the way. She knew that she should not go further, but the desire in her heart had erased all reason. Feeling Lien's response, Julian gently kissed her cheeks, each kiss gentle but full of sincerity. He kissed down her neck, his hand still tightly holding hers, as if he wanted to transmit it to there. All the feelings she had been holding back for so long, Lien trembled, but did not refuse the softness of his lips. The caress in his every gesture made her unable to resist. Lien knew that only Julian could make her feel truly loved and protected. "Sister Lien," Julian whispered in a passionate and loving voice, "I will not leave you alone, even for this moment." All the pent-up emotions she had for so long were poured out on her younger brother. The suffocating action seemed to want to swallow Julian's heart. Julian was absorbed in those feelings and gradually caught up with them. He also gently coordinated with his sister to make everything happen in the best way. Layla was both experienced and enthusiastic. Almost everything was initiated by her. Both of their belongings were thrown on the floor. They didn't have enough patience to drag each other into bed. The heat and desire were so terrible that they did it right on this small sofa. The synthesized sounds kept coming out from the war. The passionate desire was coordinated by both of them. They were so passionate that they didn't know that what they were doing was too bad, too evil. No one realized that they were a family. They just wanted to relieve their burning desires. Then the important moment came. Both of them entered the sweetest, happiest moments. Their breathing became more and more rapid and intense. It seemed like they had found the right person to confide in. "Are you happy? Do I make you happy?" If this continues, I don't want to see your brother again. Having a brother like you is enough to satisfy me. This is the first time in my life I've enjoyed such a wonderful moment. See, it's more interesting than I imagined. You're also more attractive than I thought. If it keeps going like this, I'm afraid I won't be able to stop. Don't think too much. Just like this, we can be happy together. I deserve you, but you don't. Come on, focus on this. And then they rushed into each other like moths, not paying attention to the clutter around them. Human nature at this moment completely changed. A good mother and wife were just distant things. The burning thirst in her was important. Everything only ended when there was a dog barking outside the alley. Layla quickly put her clothes back on and went through the back door towards her house. She went to bed, but her heart was still filled with emotions from just now. A smile still silently appeared on her lips. She praised Julian a lot. She silently thanked him for helping her leave as a wife. She really felt much lighter. What she wished for now was that from now on that would happen forever. She no longer missed her husband. Julian was the real man in her heart. The next day, they looked at each other without any shyness. That helped them bond and become more affectionate. The way they expressed themselves also changed. Their eyes spoke for themselves. Every now and then, when they wanted to express their sweet feelings, they would pull each other into a private place to hug each other just to ease their feelings. As for the other thing, there was no need to say anything. Whenever one of them wanted it, they would rush into each other again. They were still as happy as the first day. The matter continued like that, not knowing when it would end. Perhaps it would only stop when Layla's husband returned to his family and Julian got married. Ladies and gentlemen, our story today will stop here. Thank you for taking the time to watch the entire video. Hopefully, the details and emotions in the story have brought you interesting and meaningful moments. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below the video to let us know your opinion. And don't forget to click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any stories in the future. Each of your subscribe buttons and a like will be the motivation to help Jane and the program production team have the motivation to create more attractive videos. And now, see you in the next videos. Wish you a wonderful day.